Hi, everyone. So this is a question about reality, spirituality, non-duality, and healing and therapy. Hi, Claire. I was on a retreat and the teacher and the participants laughed at the idea of non-dual therapy because all of it's an illusion anyway. And yet your work seems to be going more and more in that direction. Could you say more about this? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, for sure, there are non-dual teachers for whom any conversation about the body, the past, the childhood, the experience is a complete irrelevance because they say none of it's real. And for me, in my work, the problem I have, or the what I can't get round with that, is that the experience of being, the whole experience of what we are, of what's true, is fundamentally dictated by a foundational belief in what we are. And the more precarious the idea of self, the more fragile the ego, really, the more it's developed in an environment, or in a sense, in an experience of risk and vulnerability and isolation and inadequacy and shame and terror. The more that ego, which is really an identified conscious mind, identified as separate, identified as lacking, the more that runs the show. And so the ongoing experience of life is completely dictated by these layers of conditioning that really are the body, that they've been embedded in the subconscious mind, which really is the body, same thing, really. And so that's the experience, that's the lived experience. But for these non-dual teachers, when they are having when they're in that moment of clarity, of that sense of the infinite, the absolute, of there being no reality, that experience is happening in the form. There's no possibility of that experience taking place other than in the form of a body mind, because it's an experience, isn't it? It's has to take place in time and space. So the revelations that they describe are happening in the body. But what's happening is that it's a total shift. A total shift is happening within the conscious mind that is settling into truth. It's no longer identified. It's no longer lost in its own projections. It's settled into pure awareness, pure beingness. But nevertheless, the experience is not possible without an element of form, no matter how perceptually created that form is. The form is the experience. And so it seems to me all very well for a teacher to stand at the front of the room and say, it doesn't matter what's going on in your experience, it doesn't matter what's going on in the body. None of that's true. But when someone's the day-to-day experience is of the torture of really that of old wounds being re-traumatized by this projected reality, and life is torture, and it's a lived minute by minute existence of fear and survival and fight and flight and The future looks so real, the past looks so real. Why would we not talk about what's true? And why would we not talk about the grip of conditioning of the body mind, and how it dictates the experience? Why would we not talk about there being no doer, and of how that the logic of that can allow this total belief in separation to loosen, and to see the truth of there being no speaker, no listener, no reader, and this healing that takes place through the experience, in which every aspect of experience is a projection from what has been accumulated within the body, and from that understanding, every moment is a healing space of revelation of what's going on inside. And yes, there's no truth to it, yes, and it's through it that is revealed, not in that's not true. It's in the moment of feeling what's going on in the body, of feeling all those emotions that were not safe to have before, of recognition of the conceptual projection. This is how the world is, this is how I am, and how none of that is true the closer and closer in we get to it. And so it seems to me that the only truly effective therapy is the therapy that allows for the feelings to be felt, and for that healing process within the body of that conviction of separation, and with a therapist that is holding a space of truth in which there is no separate individual controlling behavior, making decisions, making choices. That those are the factors that change the lived experience from one of tension and stress and control, anxiety, depression, to openness to whatever gift of revelation reality will bring from moment to moment. And that to me is living health. And it's why I think Adyashanti said many non-dual teachers are in radical denial, because they can't allow what's going on in them. They're using non-duality to block these things away, whereas the true dissolution of them, the literal disappearing, is by getting so close in, so open, with such a state of allowance and curiosity that they cannot exist in the way they were held before. So yes, I can see why they would have laughed at non-dual therapy, because it has no place. If the hard line is there is no body, there is no mind, there is no brain, there is no childhood, there is no violence, there is no abuse. But if there's even a slight recognition that the experience of being, the experience of what we are, can be aligned to a greater truth, and that alignment is through a healing of the imprint, and who knows how many generations it goes back, a healing of that imprint within this body mind now, within this lifetime. I mean, it's so powerful, and it's transformative, and it seems to me, well, the teachers I admire are the ones that are in the thick of it with 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 their participants, looking to see what's true to such an extent that what's not true falls away. Yeah, so yeah, non-dual therapy, I think it's the only thing that makes sense. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.